Into the charts we go. Look at the continued strength in Bitcoin. Again, amazing how when you have a good breakout like this, the continuation is just all the way about this move, right? So now again, let's be fair. We are going to start to hit resistance when we get up to around 17,800, and then the big level is going to be this area right up here around 18,300 to 18,400. But bottom line is, this is an amazingly nice, solid move, at least these days, right? And again, I say these days because in the past, you know, like $3,000, $5,000 move on Bitcoin is kind of what the expectations were. In this day and age, when you have this tight of a consolidation, this is actually a pretty solid move. Now, again, if it gets up here, that's where we have to think that the end could be in sight, as I think, again, we're still inside of the FTX collapse, and the bottom line is a technician will tell you, and I'm a technician, that basically, as long as you're trading inside of that move, this is a bearish consolidation pattern. And again, by the way, this is a great example of how a bearish consolidation pattern can have near-term bull moves. And we've seen that across the board in Ethereum. We've seen it in some of our others. Cardano's had amazing moves. Solana's had amazing moves, and many of the other ones as well. So just some things to kind of keep in mind there as we continue through this video. But the bottom line is, any sort of pullback, this now becomes support. My guess, again, if I had to project out what I think is going to happen to Bitcoin, I think we're going to go here. Then you're going to start to pull back and come back in, and the downside move is likely going to take us here. So this down-sloping trend line back to this low, and that's going to be your big level to test. Eventually, do I think we break below that? Yeah, I do. I ultimately think eventually we do go below that, but in the short term anyways, you know, that's going to be support, and we might even get a little bit of a bounce off of that. Let's go to Ethereum real quick here as we go through. Look at Ethereum, guys. Ethereum is at resistance, and again, this is interesting because remember, Ethereum has led Bitcoin. In other words, it broke out on December 24th right here above the line. The chart on Bitcoin did not break out until January 4th. So it was actually 10-day leeway or leading on Bitcoin. Now, again, we had the initial consolidation and then the roar to the upside, but look at what we're into. Now, look at Bitcoin, right? Think about this. If we go back to Bitcoin, this is where that same high on Bitcoin is, and we're not obviously there yet. So the thought process is, yes, eventually it should get there, and we should get up into that point, and then that's where the big test will be, just like Ethereum is testing this level now. Now, could we use Ethereum to kind of gauge whether or not the Bitcoin chart can break that high? And the answer is yes. So if Ethereum's able to push through and really start to go up, and it's a leading indicator for Bitcoin, then you would assume Bitcoin would attack that level and potentially break up as well. So again, there are some things we can kind of follow here and keep an eye on. And again, I love that as we can kind of give ourselves at least a slight edge in understanding what the next move could be in the Bitcoin chart. Now let's go through a couple of the cryptos we do have. Here you have Cardano, which is now creeping up. We're basically flat on Cardano. We were in the money over here. Again, please understand that this sideways chop and this area here, this is all resistance here on Cardano. But I'm still in the camp that I still think there's a possibility we could get a bigger move up here to around the 43-cent level on Cardano. Now that would be your max upside. The reason I say that's the max upside is because you have this down-sloping trend line, which makes up this channel, and also you have this pivot top. And if there's one thing I know from my years and years and years of trading is that when you have 2, 3, 4 factors, it's always a much harder level to get through. And in this case, you have 2 trend lines. I haven't even looked at Fibonacci retraces or anything like that, but in the very least, the fact that 2 trend lines converge at a spot means it's going to be a hard level to get through. Okay, let's go to Matic here. Let's see what Matic, which again is Polygon, is doing. It's upticking just a little bit. I think in the very least, Polygon gets back to this 95-cent level. That again, flat top, down sloping trend line from the all-time high on Polygon. That's going to be a big level. If it does somehow get through there, you're talking about $1.15 as your upside target range. But right now, 95 cents is the line in the sand that's going to be very, very hard to get through. Let's look at Solana here. Now, Solana had that amazing move here. And again, I love this. Look at the symmetry of this chart. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 bar surge, 2 bar surge, 1 bar surge, 2 bar surge. You see how the symmetry of the chart is just so freaking cool here? And again, how it mimics itself here. So you have 4 consolidations, 2 up, 4 consolidations, 2 up, and now we're starting another consolidation phase. Now, again, it doesn't necessarily have to continue in this pattern, but if we get some consolidation here, yes, I would absolutely favor a break of the 1750 level and potentially a retrace to this level right here, which, again, that would be another $10 up on Solana. Now, that would be a perfect, I mean, that would be a gift from the crypto gods if we were to get up there, considering our entry price, which is now in the money. I don't know if I'm confident enough in that move to hold the entire way, I'll tell you that much. But bottom line is we always have the ability to take half off the table and then leave the other half to run if that's what I choose to do. Okay, let's look at Avalanche real quick here. Avalanche, again, you can see that this is your upside target. I even have an arrow there pointing in that direction. But again, beautiful little move on Avalanche. We've now taken out this flat area right here around $12. The upside target is going to be, I mean, you do have a little resistance at this area right here, but if we can get through that, which is only minor, you're talking about $14.45. So a nice little level there as resistance, and that will be a big, big, big resistance on Avalanche. These pivot lows, these pivot highs, it's clearly showing us from history that this is a big level should we retest it. Let's take a look at Polkadot real quick as we go through. Polkadot, again, hammering on resistance. We touched and pierced it yesterday. This is a big level, pivot low and pivot low before breaking down. This would be the equivalent to a retrace to the scene of the crime. I'm still partial that I think we could get through that, but then the big point is going to be right up here around 560 or so as big resistance there. All right, so again, we'll keep an eye on that and just kind of, keep it on our radar to see if we can bust through. I do want to go through a few other cryptos today, but here you have Binance. Binance has obviously recaptured this level here. It broke down. You know that confirmation is unbelievably important. And what you can see here is that we hit this line, hit this line, hit this line, pierced and closed below, never confirmed. Therefore, the path of least resistance is still up. We hit it here and we closed below. Again, you never confirmed. And what happens? Price goes back up. The confirmation signal legit is the most important factor that you can ever come up with. I mean, it is literally game-changing when you learn that signal, as again, it tells you whether it's a fake breakdown or a real breakdown or a fake breakout or a real breakout. And again, just life-changing. It was honestly, when I discovered that, it literally put me in a class of being a really good trader to being a profoundly immaculate trader. Not to say I don't have a loser here and there. Obviously I do, but it just changed the game for me in such a major way to discover the confirmation signal. Okay, so that's where we stand on that front on Binance. If we go to Ripple, I know I have a lot of Ripple fans out there. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed in this chart. The reason I say that is because if you look at the rally in a lot of these cryptos, it's been big, and Ripple's barely moved up. That's a concern to me. I don't know if that tells us something about the judge's decision or something else, but it certainly is not getting a big move here, and I think we have to be very, very careful on Ripple in that scenario. If we look at Chainlink real quick, beautiful bounce. Look at the channel here. I mean, is that just a picture-perfect channel? Short term, if we continue up, there'll be a little resistance around 660. Then you have this high at 775, and eventually the high end here around $9.50. Do I think it's going to get up to $9.50? I mean, I kind of would think maybe not, but you just never know. If the crypto market really gets its mojo back for a rip your face off bear market rally, then honestly, the high end targets on a lot of these things could easily be tested. There's no doubt about that. Okay. Aside from that, I don't think I have much else for you guys today, but bottom line is, it's great to see the continued strength in the crypto markets. I'd love to see Bitcoin close above 17,500 and then make a run at that 18,000 level plus tomorrow. I do think that, again, as long as the stock market stays relatively neutral to positive, it's slightly higher today, then the crypto market does have an inkling to kind of continue up. The other thing to keep in mind is we had a Jerome Powell, basically speech today. He didn't say anything new, so it didn't really affect the markets. But Thursday, we have the CPI data at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, and that will be majorly affecting the markets, including crypto, going into the next Fed decision, right? It's going to either say, okay, the Fed has to continue to raise rates aggressively. Maybe they can pause. What are they going to do? But that data the CPI data should tell us that. So that'll be Thursday at 8:30 a.m. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.